Everybody loves saving money,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially these days.
especially these days. I
Yeah,
think all of us are looking for ways to kind of make ends meet a little bit better.
for sure. Yeah.
And what if I told you that one of the best ways to save money is by, doing things yourself
Around the house.
around the house? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Becoming kind of a DIY hero, around the
Right.
house.
Totally.
And so today, we're going to take a deep dive into home repairs and
Mm.
how being uh, kind of savvy with home repairs can be really empowering.
Yeah, it's more than just saving money too, right? It's
Yeah.
it's also just like a feeling of confidence, you know? Like you're not reliant on paying somebody else to do something that you could probably handle.
Right.
Like you're not at the mercy of, sometimes unscrupulous contractors or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree. It's very empowering.
So we're going to untack an article that we found called Knowledge is Power.
Hmm.
And it's about this. And it really drove this point home for me.
Yeah.
It features this incredible story that we're going to get into. And I promise you, it's going to make you think twice about picking up the phone and calling a plumber next time you have an issue.
Okay.
And it really taps into this fear, I think, that a lot of us have, which is, not knowing enough and maybe getting taken advantage of.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to feel like they're being, ripped off or taken for a ride, especially when it comes to something as important as, their home.
Right.
Yeah.
So the article kind of lays out these benefits of
Yeah.
of being, doing things yourself, the DIY stuff. Obviously, saving money is one of them,
Right.
but also it talks about how just having that basic knowledge gives you the power to kind of negotiate better prices
Right.
and to maybe not be such a target for these unscrupulous contractors.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you know the basics, right,
Yeah.
then you understand kind of what's involved in a repair, how long it should take, what materials should cost.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like smell a rat when you see a quote, that seems way too high.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's really important just to have that baseline knowledge.
So picture this. The author of this article is dealing with low water pressure in their house,
Okay.
which, if you own a home, it's probably something that you've encountered at some point.
Yeah.
And they'd fixed it before. So this is not something that's new to them,
Right.
but they're busy.
Yeah.
They just want it taken care of.
Sure.
So they call a plumber.
Which, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, it's worth it to pay somebody else to do it just for the sake of, convenience and time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this story I think really kind of highlights, why it is important to have at least a basic understanding of how things work.
Right.
Yeah.
So the plumber arrives, diagnoses the issue, which is a faulty water pressure regulator.
Okay.
Again, not a super uncommon issue.
Right.
But then comes the shocker. They're given a quote of $2,100 to replace this water pressure regulator.
Wow. $2,100. That's a lot
Yeah.
for what is essentially just a valve that controls the water flow
Right.
in your plumbing system.
And you can buy those things for like $145.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can pick one up at a hardware store for a fraction of that.
Right.
So that's a huge markup.
But this is where the story gets interesting. The author of the article, thankfully, they know their stuff.
Okay.
They've replaced this part before.
Right.
It took them 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So they politely push back on the quote.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, I think it's always worth it to question a quote if it seems excessive.
Right.
And a good contractor, a good plumber should be willing to break down the cost for you, explain why they're charging, what they're charging.
Right.
So yeah, I'm glad that the author pushed back.
Well, the plumber in this story was not receptive to that at all. In fact, he said over speakerphone to his boss, "Do we look like $50 an hour plumbers?"
Oh wow.
Yeah. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's just taking advantage of somebody who they perceive as not knowing any better.
Right.
Which is really unfortunate, but it does happen.
Yeah, and it brings us back to the heart of the article, which is, knowledge is power. In this situation, a little DIY know-how saved this person Close to $2,000.
Yeah, I mean that's money that could be going towards, your kid's college fund or a vacation or anything else. I mean that's a significant amount of money.
Right.
So yeah, I think this story really illustrates the importance of being informed.
And it's not just about being handy.
Right.
It's about being financially savvy
Yeah.
and protecting yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, can you imagine the feeling of empowerment and just the sense of accomplishment that you get from tackling these things yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize until they actually try it.
Right.
But it really is. It's a great feeling to be able to fix something yourself. To know that you don't have to rely on somebody else to do it for you.
And these days, there are so many resources available to to help people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's YouTube videos, there's websites,
Right.
there's all sorts of resources out there that can teach you how to do just about anything around the house.
Yeah. So what does all of this mean for you, the listener?
Yeah,
We want you to walk away from this deep dive feeling empowered.
absolutely.
Knowing how to handle basic repairs around the house is such a valuable skill.
Yeah, and we want you to think about, what's one simple repair that you could learn to do yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fixing a leaky faucet or patching drywall, or even just knowing how to shut off your water main in an emergency.
Yeah.
What's one small step that you can take today to feel more confident and in control of your home?
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's a great feeling, and it's something that everyone can do.
Yeah. And it can really pay off in the long run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.